Thank you for all being here today. I think first I'll start my comments by thanking the Fiscal Bureau and Reference Bureau. Sort of an atypical process we went through the last couple weeks. Got a lot of work done a lot of people working many hours to get us to this point today, but today it's going to be a historic day for Wisconsin. We're producing a responsible budget that invests in core priorities, but most importantly, we're providing I should have probably verified this before I start talking, but I think it's going to be the second biggest tax cut in state history, making sure our seniors on limited income, giving them tax relief, giving working class families tax relief through the expansion of the second tax bracket, and also not taxing utility rates anymore in Wisconsin. So I'm really excited that we have a guarantee on a $1.4 billion tax cut. That's an ongoing tax cut that is going to benefit all of Wisconsin families for forever. So I'm really excited about that. So the order that we're going to go in today is I'm going to turn it over to Senator Mark Line, the co-chair of the Finance Committee, to sort of talk about all the great things that are in this budget.
Good morning. Good to be here. I'm glad we're near the end of this process. It's been an interesting process for me and the entire Joint Finance team, and I certainly appreciate all of the efforts that our Joint Finance team put in this effort. So happy that where we're at this point. As I've said many times, a budget is a compromise document. It involves compromise within a caucus. It involves compromise between the houses, and it certainly involves compromise with the governor's office, and that's very evident in the document that we're going to be voting on today. So I've had the honor of serving as co-chair for 3 budgets now, and it has been an honor. And I'm happy that in all 3 of these budgets that where I've served as co-chair, the governor has signed the bill, and he will be signing this bill as well. So I'm very happy and proud of that. So I want to touch on just a couple of areas. University of Wisconsin system, the budget provisions there. I represent UW-Platteville, so I've got a campus in my district. My comments are probably oriented from that perspective. So I'm very proud of the work they do at Platteville. So in the agreement that we have regarding the UW, they're going to be getting, the UW system is going to be getting $53 million of new money. And I'm happy that we've got a provision in there that is going to put the thumb on the scale to help some of those campuses like UW-Platteville that have had declining enrollment over the last decade. So over $30 million of that new $53 million is going to go to campuses that have experienced declining enrollment in the last decade or so, which I think is good news for a campus like Platteville. Also, we put $54 million into merit and market-based compensation. Again, I'll point to UW-Platteville. Hiring engineers is expensive, okay? And we're seeing this throughout the UW system. Some of these positions are hard to attract, hard to recruit. Engineers, nurses, accountants. And so, this will provide a basket of money for our campuses to recruit those difficult to recruit positions. So I'm happy about that. Moving on to transportation, roads are important. They're important. I can't think of probably a more bipartisan topic than roads. We all want good roads, and we're going to be funding our roads and in a responsible manner. Our general fund supported borrowing for roads is going to be below the governor's number, which is important. Also, we've made some enhancements to the governor's proposal, particularly with ARIP, the Agriculture Road Improvement Program, of $150 million. And of that, we're going to carve out roughly 20% of that, $30 million for local, these small bridges that need repair. And so I'm happy to do that. And then finally, on the buildings, we're investing significantly in our buildings throughout the state, out of state, on UW campuses and other state buildings. And our, again, our general fund supported borrowing for those buildings, the building program is less than 1/2 of what the governor has proposed. So again, this I think points to the fact that this is a responsible budget. We're investing in core priorities, but we're doing it in a responsible way. So with that, I will turn it over to the Vice Chair, Senator Pat Testin.
Well, thank you, Senator Markline. And I know that for all of you, this is probably a very sad day because after this budget gets passed and signed into law, you're going to have your summers and not be covering us every single day here in the Capitol. But I'm really proud of where we're at today, and this has been a unique budget process. And when you take a look at the budget that was introduced by Governor Evers compared to the document that we are about to vote on and send to him, they were a night and day difference. And thankfully, through divided government, we've been able to have very successful negotiations and conversations, and I think that's a testament to Leader Lemieux, Speaker Voss, Co-Chair Bourne, and Markline to get us in a spot where we're not only going to have a budget that provides significant tax relief, builds upon previous investments, but also acknowledges some of the challenges that we face here in the state. And in this particular budget, we did have some uphill battles, and particularly as it related to our cost to continue Medicaid. You know, facing a roughly $1.6 billion shortfall, and thankfully we were able to fill that hole while still maintaining and building upon investments to increase access to rural health care in every corner of the state, and especially for our underserved, underinsured, and uninsured individuals. Some of the investments that we made, including our FQHCs, our federally qualified healthcare centers, an increase in $1.6 million in grants. Our FQHCs have served over 300,000 Wisconsin patients across the state. We also invested an additional $1.5 million in grants to our free and charitable clinics. And when we talk about our healthcare workforce, going back to my very first budget, back in 2017, I was the lead author on a budget motion that provided grant dollars for our advanced practice clinicians and our allied health professionals. And this has helped develop a talent pipeline for individuals like our RN, CNAs, and other healthcare professionals. We're building upon that investment by increasing the investment by $1 million. So again, doing what we can to address the workforce shortages within our healthcare delivery service. I don't want to steal the thunder, but again, I mentioned this yesterday at our press conference, but when we talk about mental health, one of our champions here in the state Senate has been Senator Jesse James, and he was the lead author on a budget motion to provide $10 million for Rogers Behavioral Health, which is going to be up in the Chippewa Valley, which I'll allow him to talk more about. But really acknowledging that there is a mental health crisis, not just in the state, but around the country, and Republicans are rising up to meet the challenges, to address the needs, to ensure that we're helping every Wisconsinite, regardless of age, race, income, you name it. And so this is really a historic budget for us. Some of the other areas, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Senator Rachel Barral-Guevara, who is a nurse herself. We got a huge investment and increase for our private duty nurse pay, a $14.4 million increase for the Medicaid reimbursement, which is really going to go a long way to help individuals stay within their homes where they're not going to be in places of a high acuity of care, which is at the highest cost for our Medicaid budget. And so this has the potential to be a cost saver. So again, Republicans, we have shown that we are willing to step up to the plate, do what we can to address the challenges that our state faces, and making sure that we're increasing access to care and addressing affordability issues as well. So I think this has been, as Senator Markline mentioned, a unique process, but I'm quite pleased with the final outcome, and I'm really looking forward to voting yes on this budget, and more importantly, I'm looking forward to having Governor Evers sign this into law and moving the state in the right direction. And with that, I want to turn it over to Senator Jesse James to talk about some of the mental health issues that he has worked on in this budget. So,
Thank
Senator.
you. Oh, this is truly a best day for Wisconsin, the 23rd Senate District, and the rest of the Chippewa Valley. Our job here is to represent the wants and needs of the people back in our home communities to the best of our abilities and do what we can do to help. This session and throughout the budget process, my focus remains firmly on supporting Wisconsin's kiddos, expanding mental health care, and improving substance use disorder services and resources in our state. I take these issues personally, not just as a legislator, but as a father and law enforcement officer. I believe there are real positive changes within our reach. It's about recognizing the opportunities in front of us and taking decisive action when that moment comes. This budget is packed with great projects. We increased funding for our child advocacy centers, who take care of our child victims in a safe environment. We established funding for psychiatric residential treatment facilities to keep children with intense mental health treatment needs closer to home. We are bringing a new behavioral health hospital and reopening a substance abuse treatment center in Chippewa Falls. We increased funding for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Wisconsin and Jobs for America's graduates. We put more money towards the positive parenting program and child care access. We put money towards addressing the mental health resources for farmers and for college students. We saved our suicide hotline, 988. I will continue to focus on these priorities and make recommendations for Wisconsin to invest in so we can take care of our kiddos. I am extremely proud to support this budget. #fighting for our kiddos.